So the Game Awards 2023 is now over, and what do we take away from it? It is a giant waste of time that does not respect your time. I mean, we shouldn't expect nothing less from a game show that shows more advertisements than actual games. But there were some good things to come out of it. I mean, there wasn't many. Apparently, Kojima's working on a new movie game, like, literally it's a fucking movie. You know, defeats the entire purpose of a whole fucking game and it's called OD. So I don't know, I'm not too sure about it. We haven't seen any gameplay of it, and I don't even think there is gameplay of it because, they said it themselves, it's a movie.
And also something that no one has seen before is what I'm trying to do. And it is a game, don't get me wrong, but it's at the same time a movie, but at the same time a new form of media.
You have to be fucking joking me, they're making a movie game? Bruh. You heard it straight from the man himself. He wants to make the game an actual fucking movie, similar to how Spider-Man 2 is. But we will have to wait and see until we actually get to see the actual gameplay of the game, so I'm not going to make too many assumptions, but it's probably just going to be a movie game like every other AAA game. So I probably should say this going forward, is that I'm probably not going to cover everything at the Game Awards, or cover a majority, because I don't want to make this video over 2 to 3 hours long, just criticizing and laughing at certain shit, so we're going to try and keep this under 30 minutes, and only talk about the things that really interested me, but, you know, if I missed anything, or you don't agree with something I said, I don't know, leave it in the fucking comments. So the Game Awards started off relatively weak, with a couple indie games just to start up the show to get everyone interested, and then, halfway through one of those indie games, I believe it was the third and fourth one, they showed something that looked very familiar, but I can't mention by name, is that pretty much if you mention these guys in a negative light, you tend to just get blasted off of the YouTube relatively quick, or your video taken down. But I'm just going to show you a picture, and pretty much, they're just not a good company. Any game or any company that they are tied to does not end up going well. I think Spider-Man 2 was a great example of making the game less about Spider-Man and helping, I don't know, whatever diverse character you want to meet. But I will just link you to a video to get a better understanding of what this company does and their role inside the gaming industry. I won't linger around on it too much, but pretty much, whatever game they're tied to doesn't usually end up coming out good. So yeah, let's move on to the next thing. After those couple of indie games, we eventually made it over to Hellblade 2, which was okay, it looked pretty good, but it looks like just another movie game that you would find on a Sony platform, so it didn't really, you know, speak to me at all. And then after that, we got Overdose, or OD, whatever, Nicole Kojima's game. And then finally, we got to some games that I'm actually interested in and actually play on a consistent basis, which is Warframe and its new DLC coming with cross-progression, and then Ready or Not's full release from Early Access after a whole year of getting no content, which honestly, finally, I have 2 games to play while I wait for Dragon's Dogma 2. Honestly, I do believe you should just pick up one of these games. If you're looking for a good successor to the SWAT games from, I don't know, whenever they released, you're gonna have a lot of fun with Ready or Not, as it's a really good tactical game, and can be taken pretty good solo if you have no friends. And then Warframe, I don't know, if you want to look to replace Destiny 2, which honestly, I don't think you're missing much. I think Warframe's just a much better game overall, even with Digital Extreme's problems. Then after all that, through the Game Awards, we went through like another, like, I don't know, 45 minutes of just slop that I don't really care about, so I'm just gonna skip past most of it. And then we get to a game that is most intriguing, as I've already played the game both in its closed alpha and closed beta stages, which was Skulls and Bones, and my god, the game does not look like it's going to be good on launch. Even though the game was genuinely actually pretty fun to play, because, you know, it's actually Black Flag's combat, but overall, the game has a lot less features from what it was actually promised, and overall just feels like a really basic Ubisoft game. I mean, it literally is just a bare minimum to be called a live service game, and it's only being made because of a government contracting them to make that game. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't have any faith in it, and I don't think the product's going to be good on launch. Even though I did have a bit of fun playing it in its closed alpha and beta stages, there's nothing to look forward to about the game.
I appreciate the team sharing the first glimpse of gameplay at the end there. Looks great. All right, well, now we're going to go right on to another world premiere.
Bro, they're going to give us... Oh, yeah, actually. Fucking Sony, let's go, champ. What are they going to give us? It's going to be Wolverine? What is it going to be? Yeah, get the dog Kratos, eh? Motherfucking God of War game.
You are certain you remember nothing of this place?
Oh, nothing that would help us.
Master.
Oh, is this a fucking DLC? No shot.
Tell me, brother, why exactly are we doing this?
must face this.
No shame in what just happened. It's all part of the process. Let's go
Oh.
again.
Oh, it's a roguelike game mode, huh? I mean, that would work pretty well for fucking Ragnarok. Not bad. If you like fucking Ragnarok, I'm sure you're gonna love this. It's pretty good. Oh, fuck yeah, free DLC, that's a big up for PlayStation. So I thought I would actually just bring up the God of War Ragnarok DLC, as I think it just proves a point that The Last of Us Remastered should have not costed anything and just been a free update, because my god, you cannot tell the difference in any of these graphical updates and many of these other things within that remastered. And I think this goes to show the main selling point of that, remastered the roguelike mode, could have just been free DLC. Like, it really goes to show you the difference between Santa Monica and fucking Naughty Dog. Like, I know they're both under the same umbrella of PlayStation, but like, come on. Look at how publicly well received the fucking God of War Ragnarok roguelike free DLC is being received, compared to the remastered. It is insane. All Naughty Dog really had to do was just change the remaster to like $15 update, but if you bought the game at $70, you would get the DLC free alongside that $70 purchase. It would have been that easy. Just remove the mention of a remaster. It would have been that simple. But hey, what can you do? Let's move on to the next game. So, I've only got two more things I really want to bring up, which is the Fallout TV show and the new Monster Hunter game, and then we're going to go over why the thumbnail is what it is, because, let's just say, the end of the Game Awards really pissed off a lot of people, and it was genuinely funny to watch the fucking live chat just go into flames as soon as people saw Baldur's Gate won Game of the Year. And we will also be talking about the annoying amount of fucking advertisements in the Game Awards. They do this every year, but goddamn, it was bad this year. And we'll also be talking about those, I would say, somewhat annoying sections where they got a band on stage to play music for a bit, instead of just showing us more games. So, the Fallout TV show. From what it looks like, it probably won't be faithful to the actual games itself. It doesn't really look like Fallout in my eyes, and I've already seen this before the Game Awards show. They just showed off the exact same thing again. But I do have a couple of problems with it that, I don't know, you only may care about if you're a Fallout fan, but if you're just watching it to watch it, it's probably going to be fine. But my biggest problem is that the show is canon, but it looks like that the NCR won't be there on the West Coast, inside of a lot of the prominent places where they should be. But since we haven't seen much about the show, and to my knowledge we don't know much about the show, we can't really come to an assumption that it won't follow the lore of the older Fallout games, which, if you're making a canon show, that's pretty important. Plus, I don't really like Todd Howard as a director. He's such a fucking annoying piece of shit with some of the stuff he does. For example, recently, even though he hasn't worked on Skyrim, probably doesn't do anything with it, Skyrim has just recently got an update again that destroyed modding for PC and console completely again, which this time was worse than previous as it completely changed the ID system, and I think they even have countermeasures in place for the downgrade patcher, which, that's fucking annoying. I guess we can't play our older versions of Skyrim anymore, which hopefully someone can figure that out. But yeah, my faith with Bethesda is at an all-time low, and I have little to no respect for them, especially with their multiple blunders in the last couple of years. So, let's get back on topic. I think one of my biggest concerns for the Fallout TV show is that they're not going to take into consideration the previous games, and they're only going to do Bethesda's games, like 3 and 4 and 76. But not actually look at, New Vegas 1 and 2 Tactics. I'm actually not sure if Tactics is canon, but yeah. It's not out of the character of Bethesda to, shame anyone that fucking makes a game under their franchise and then never use any of their stuff, which, look at what they did to Obsidian when they made Fallout New Vegas. But if there is any praise I can actually give to the Fallout TV show is that its prop design is genuinely good. The Fallout show may not look like Fallout in some of the scenes, but their props genuinely do look good for the budget that they have on this show. The power armor genuinely looks good, and whoever made them really does deserve a promotion. So let's move on to Monster Hunter. So there's not really much I can tell you about the Monster Hunter game, it's just that it's a new Monster Hunter game. It will be releasing in 2025, and there will be a showcase, I think, early to mid next year, that will give you a lot more about the game than I can tell you right now. But if you want an example of what the showcase will probably be like, it would more than likely just be like the Dragon's Dogma one, but much longer, and have a lot more information inside of it, since Monster Hunter is just a much bigger franchise than Dragon's Dogma. So from what it looks like, the Monster Hunter fans have just been given the GTA 6 treatment and said, yeah, you gotta wait until 2025. So I guess we'll have to wait until then. I guess I'll see you then, and let's move on to the final parts of the Game Awards. So that was pretty much every major game that I thought was interesting to cover. If I missed anything that you liked, I don't know, leave in the comments like I said earlier in the video. So, let's move on. The overall thoughts of the Game Award was, it was genuinely dog shit. It was not fun to sit through, and a lot of the time was wasted just giving us advertisements instead of showing us new stuff. Like, the amount of times that I heard the name Fortnite during the Game Awards, especially from its advertisements, like, it had like 3 or 4 fucking advertisements dedicated to itself, and the amount of times it was mentioned was insane. It would not surprise me if Epic Games just owns pretty much all of their fucking Game Awards at this point. There is no way that they can get away with repeating fucking the word Fortnite repeatedly over and over and over again, alongside with all the other shitty advertisements that they had. It was fucking miserable to sit through. You would watch one reveal, and then there would just be another ad. It also probably didn't help that there weren't many really big games there. I felt like this year was pretty weak on actual big hitting games for the next year. There were only a very few standout AAA games that were very interesting to look at. Like, I could only name a couple off the top of my head, but most of them looks like indie to AA games that they were showed off this year. It was a very weak year for games at the Game Awards. Another thing I would like to touch on quickly is the name Woke Awards, because I do believe this show genuinely does deserve that name from the amount of times that they spent from some of the people on this show talking about diversity was fucking miserable. Nobody listens to you because you're diverse. We listen to you because you either do a good job in your acting role, or you just do a good job with whatever you did to get onto that stage. It's not that hard. We don't care that you're diverse or from some unique background. We're all a bit fucking unique. See, I'm a bit fucking special. But guess what? I don't make that my personality. So I think the last thing I really do want to talk about, which I think is the last thing on my notes, yes it is the Game of the Year, Baldur's Gate. I can't even disagree with. Baldur's Gate 3 was such a good game. It really did deserve that Game of the Year. And the way that some people in the actual chat reacting to it, they fucking lost their shit when Baldur's Gate got Game of the Year. Here, I'll even put some of it up. The amount of fanboys that lost their shit because a fucking game did a good job and won Game of the Year, like, I don't know how people can take this shit seriously. It was pretty funny watching the live chat just completely lose their mind because the fucking Game of the Year went to Baldur's Gate and something not like Spider-Man 2 or something. Like, I will never understand that. Did you really think Spider-Man 2 actually stood a chance? That most of the games there didn't even stand a chance. The only other game that actually stood a reasonable chance there was Tears of the Kingdom. But this has to be said, because for some reason people need this said to them. If you have a game that you really enjoyed this year, that you thought deserved Game of the Year, go ahead and say it's your personal Game of the Year. You don't need some snob journos from some stupid fucking game show to tell you what the Game of the Year is. But if there is one overall thing we could take away from this, is that fanboys are gonna fanboy. And the big benefit is that we get to call it the Xbox and the PlayStation fanboys. Nintendo has not done much. They don't get many fanboys anymore because, you know, Nintendo's on their own slice of life. But for the Xbox fanboys, we're gonna laugh at them for saying that the Xbox tax no longer exists because they took home a pretty decent amount of the awards this time around. Where PlayStation, I think, only got 1 or 2. And then I'm gonna watch PlayStation fanboys tell us that the Game Awards show is biased when not too long ago, less than a couple weeks ago, they were saying that this show is always truthful and never lies about PlayStation's quality. But I'm sure the PlayStation fanboys will call this game show rigged, but at the same time, I'm sure the Xbox fanboys are gonna forget everything they said the last month about the Xbox tax. So the biggest takeaway is that there's gonna be probably a decent amount of salt content coming soon. I can't wait to make fun of Xbox and PlayStation fanboys, hopefully within the next 2 weeks. So I think this is the part where I give the game show a rating. I don't know, I'll give it 4 New Zealanders out of 69 hard-working Australians. It was absolutely dog shit and miserable. But I guess I'm gonna have to watch the next one when that eventually comes around next year. But that's pretty much it. I've covered all the notes I've written down, so yeah, this is the end of the video. See you all in the next one, hopefully within the next week or two. Take care, boys.